What is up, guys? Still jamming away. Just got done putting the oil pump in. We are going to now tackle the cam chest. I did save all of the shims from this motor. If this was a brand new build, it would have a significantly, I would have a much more difficult time putting all this back together, because on a brand new build, I'm going to have to re-shim and recheck everything. I actually had this motor running prior to any of the case repairs, and the case repairs are on the outside. Still good practice to check them, and I will go through and check the cam shims and things like that. However, all of the cams that I took out had shims. I kept all of them together, even when I just parts washed everything. So ideally, I'm going to lay this back in exactly the way it came out originally. So let's turn you guys around and get jamming away on this cam chest. Here's all the cams, lifters, all of that. I don't know. There's a good chance I might bring these back and coat them. Disassemble the lifters and lifter blocks, rather. But got it set over right now. Breather gear is in the timing hole where it needs to be. And now we're on to cams. So like I said, on the actual cams, I did keep all of these together. So we got our thrust washers on the backside, and we have our camshafts with timing marks and all of those fun things. Actually going to go through and dry some of these off. They still got a little bit of parts cleaner on them. So let me do that and we'll be back. Our cam chest is pretty much set here. What we need to do is lube up these cam bearings first. First thing we got to do when we do the cams, make sure your breather gear is set correctly. I have this lined up in the hole. Timing marks over there for the crank. It is in the window. I showed you guys that in the last video, so I don't have to worry about that right now. Now on these thrust washers, you have a chamfered cut here, flat edge here. Flat edge goes towards the back of the motor. Chamfered edge goes out towards the camshafts. So we'll drop these in like that. And then Ironhead cams typically are all marked, so I got 1P. These are P cams, so that's how you tell that one. 1P. This is going to go in here. Helps if you put them in the right way. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing here. Duh. I'll drop one in. Then we're going to skip 2 for now, because
that's what she did.
Destroyed the house.
No, she pulled down my curtain and she was eating it on my couch.
Right, and then on the actual breather gear, got a timing mark here. So just dropping these in place for now. Roughly, obviously, 2 is going to have to go in last. It's the worst of them. And I don't know if this is going to show up that well, but I'm just going through and marking. Paint or oil pen would work much better here. Just trying to get a quick reference here for which ones go where. So I did have 2 shims on number 3. 2 thin shims for number 3. Now, on the breather itself, we have, let's throw number 4 in too. Number 2, the reason I'm putting this one in last, is 1 and 3 need to line up with this. So on number 2, you're going to have 3 timing marks. You got one here, one over here, one right here. I don't know if that's actually going to show up. I can see it. Maybe you can or cannot. Who knows? But number 1, 2, and 3. This is the trickier one because all of these need to mesh up together. So we have timing gear 1. It's going to line up on the number 1 cam. Oh, number 3. You got two marks here. 1 and 3. This needs to point towards number 4. So essentially we're playing the connect the dots game of trying to line up all the camshafts and get them to line up in the holes at the same time. I think I'm 1 tooth off here, 1 tooth off here. What do we do? It's hard, you guys are in my way. There. Now everything is meshed up. Unfortunately, I don't know how well you guys can see any of this. But now we got our cam timing marks. Line here goes to this one. This connects to our pinion. This connects to our cam. And then number 4 is just going to line up right here, like so. And your idler gear and spacer will sit here. And there's your cam chest. But now I do have these shims, so I'll drop this back on number 1. I'll wait on that. Sorry, that's number 3 anyway. We'll wait a minute on that one. But there's your cam chest. In rotation. Let's just do this to recheck our breather gear markings. We're back at 1 on the breather gear. The big thing right now is I'm more concerned on the breather timing. We're halfway in the hole. I don't think that I could go another tooth. Yeah, that is in the hole. It's just a little bit of slop right now. But breather's lined up, and our timing marks over here. Still look good to me. I'm trying to think if that's one more tooth or not. No. I'm good with that. So now 1 shim on this first one. 2 shims on number 3, just like it was, and we are good to go. Throw some lube on here and put the cam cover on, see if it all fits. Alright, so I ended up going satin black on the cam cover. Everything else is super glossy, but now I'm covered in degreaser and oil, so anything I touch gets real nice and dirty. But this was all coated. Masked everything off on the backside, masked off the whole face. Got to decide, I might actually clean this up a little bit more. I still have the seal in here. This is getting replaced. I have not replaced that yet. But for mock-up purposes and fitment, I'm going to throw this on here. That. And then everything still spins smoothly. Obviously there's no bolts in here. No lube on anything, but that's what we're looking at. Let me clean this thing up, and then we'll do the final assembly with gasket in there, tighten it down, make sure nothing's binding up. While we're at it, before I start messing around with this cover and I forget, kicker seal or shifter shaft seal, gotta get that in. Sounds like a buddy of mine's coming over here in a little bit, so not sure how much more we're gonna get done on this today in all actuality, but we will try. Let's see what socket works for this. 11/16. 3/4, just a hair too big for this one. I'm going to actually lube this up right now before I forget later on. Some fresh assembly lube on here. I'm going to lube up the shaft when this actually comes through too. Don't want to mess up a brand new seal. The only reason I'm doing that now is once the cam cover's on, this covers up the back half of this. And I don't really want to have to deal with that. So, screens are in, everything else is in. Now we are pretty much ready to drop the cam cover on. Okay, so we got to pound this camshaft seal out, and I don't have anything that can actually fit behind there, unfortunately. So we're going to go backside on it. And then we get to clean up all of this crust here. That's the only part I didn't have a chance to get to. Clear all this out. Ooh, should probably go through and clean out these points holes too. Do not have a thread file small enough for these. These are completely gunked up and covered in sand. So that's something we got to address. Alright, let me turn the air compressor on, clear all this stuff out, so you don't have to listen to that. Here's the old seal, it was a steel one. I'm going to put a rubber one in. So this is going to replace that. Now, in order to do that, we're going to put this in and drive it down using a big old socket. See what I got that'll fit. Sometimes you can actually get the rubber ones kind of going by hand first. Not always, but sometimes. That would be much better for me, since this is so far down in the recess. And that's pretty much the end of it in terms of being able to assemble this cam chest. You heard that metal on metal noise change. That's what you want. Alright, we'll put a little bit of lube on that. Then, a little more assembly lube here, just on the seal. Basically going to dry assemble everything else on here, because I want to make sure everything turns over proper once the cam chest is torqued down. So, now I gotta find a gasket. It looks a little brighter in here. It's pretty warm today, so I got the door open for the first time in forever. Oh, these stupid cam cover gaskets. There's a couple different variations, so we gotta make sure we get the right one. If we notice, this one's okay up here. It doesn't cover this boss. Does not line up here with the lower hole. Not good. Hoping we can get lucky here. This one rides the whole passage. We can get to this. This is the one we need. Double check your gaskets every time. Make sure everything kind of lines up where it's supposed to. But that is the one we are looking for. All of these bolt holes should line up fine on here. And same thing here. If we pull this off, gentle, gentle, gentle. It's a little tight on this dowel pin. Flip it, lay it over on here, make sure everything lines up on the actual cover itself. So I'm not doing final assembly, I'm just laying all of this on here for now. Get everything bolted in. I think I actually bought a set of colony stuff for this. Gotta double check that. Sorry, it looks like that seal was sticking up just a hair on one edge. But let's grab let me double check here. Double check through some of these boxes of crap. I definitely do have a brand new colony bag somewhere. I just literally just took it out. I don't know where I put it. So that's cool. Let me keep digging. If not, I have most of the old hardware. On the cam chest, here's the old ones, miscellaneous things I had. They weren't a complete set. I was missing a handful from before. But I do have most of them from the new Ironhead basket case that I was working on. Or sourcing parts for, rather. So we will start dropping in a ton of these right now. It's been a while since I've done these. So this could take just a minute for me to get reoriented on here. Gonna get them all started by hand first. Make sure the gaskets are setting up proper. Making sure that all of these are good to go. And then this is how you're going to go about checking your cam. For shims. Just checking to see if they're all kind of consistent. There's a good amount of play in there. I might try and shim these a little bit. It'll work fine, it'll just be a little loud. But it's an Ironhead, so feels pretty good. Well, we've been doing a ton of stuff, so at this point I got a buddy coming over. My garage is absolutely trashed. I got to clear off this bench. I think I'm going to put the motor back in the bike just to free up some space, because I got frames and gaskets, garbage, parts, boxes of miscellaneous crap I got to go through. I'm going to take a little bit of time and start cleaning up in here, and that'll wrap it up for this video for now. So we'll do the final install on the cam chest later on, and then we can start working on the lifters. I got to figure out if I'm coating these or not. They're just clean aluminum right now, but I think I might go black on these because I got black pushrod tubes and I got chrome pushrod tubes. Haven't decided yet. I do want to add a lot more black on this, just being a shop build project to advertise the coating component, but that's where we're at. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all those fun things. More of the bottom end stuff coming your way soon.